first I'd like to say thank you for waiting out here in the rain and being patient with the process, and also today specifically the hearing. This is a really important case. We have a historic federal election just in a matter of a couple of days, and this is a really critical issue. And Citizen AG is an organization that has come together to enforce and protect all of our fundamental constitutionally protected rights to vote. And we are here to ensure that right, that guarantee from the U.S. Supreme Court as well. One person, one vote, eligible voters. And that's all we're here to do. We're not here to prevent anyone from registering, anyone from actually voting. We want to make sure that everyone who is eligible to vote is registered to vote and can cast that vote, and that their vote is not diluted by ineligible voters who should not be on the registrar. We're just asking that these county boards perform their statutory duties, their constitutional duties, their federal duties to maintain the integrity of these voter rolls. So again, that we have actual eligible voters who are voting in these really critical elections. We had the hearing this morning was actually a really great success. We appreciate the Judge Stephen Jones's time and attention, his patience. We had a lot of filings from the opposition, literally last night, 9:30 p.m., 11 p.m., filing papers, hundreds of pages of paperwork the eve of this hearing. And so we had to deal with that. The judge had to deal with that. So part of the continuance is based upon the fact that he would like not only the opportunity to review these papers himself, but he's now given us an opportunity to brief and thoroughly respond to the motions that were filed and the evidence that was submitted by the Secretary of State and by the county, and also the Action Fund that I believe it's New Georgia Project Action Fund that filed a motion to intervene last night. So it's a procedural thing, a technical thing based on fairness to all of the parties. So we actually appreciate the judge's time, and also that he recognizes the sensitivity, the timing of this issue, and that he's asking us to come back, like you mentioned, in the next couple of weeks. Well, as I mentioned in the hearing, I respectfully disagreed with the judge's interpretation of the complaint. We believe that we sufficiently allege that Mr. Frazier is just one individual, one eligible voter in Fulton County, but that he stands in the shoes or is similarly situated to tens, if not hundreds of thousands of other residents in the county. And so his injuries, his allegations are not unique to him. The same injuries are happening to, again, thousands of other individuals, other eligible voters in the county. So if that wasn't clear, and I tried to go through the complaint with the judge, we had time constraints because of all of those issues and procedural matters that were raised in the last couple of hours, 24 hours. I just said, I can go through this 36-page complaint. It's a very significant, detailed complaint, hundreds of paragraphs. But if Your Honor is not clear on what this case means, the rights that we are, who we're representing, then we would like the opportunity to amend. And so he granted us that opportunity. So we're grateful for that. We want to make it very clear. This is about everybody's right, everybody's fundamental constitutionally protected right to vote and have that vote count in the election. Go ahead. So that's a factual issue I can respond to. I'm going to respond to on a higher level because I don't want to get into it before we have an actual hearing on the merits of that issue. There is a dispute into what happened. So of course the county is going to say, we gave proper notice, we complied with the code, we gave you a hearing, and you opted not to attend that hearing or to participate in the hearing. The allegations, and I would like to say that the evidence that they proffered was not based on, is not admissible. We'll be challenging that. It's not based on the declarant or the affidavit, the author of the affidavit's personal knowledge. At least it doesn't say that. And Mr. Frazier disputes that that's what happened. And if you look at the paperwork actually presented by the county itself, it undermines what they were actually claiming in court today. So it's a little bit interesting because they seem to refute their own arguments today. But again, we'll address that in writing according to the court's order this morning.
It sounds like Mr. Frazier had challenged the eligibility of 5 voters, is that right?
That is.
The county says that it has addressed 4 of those. I guess they found dismissed challenges against those 4 voters, is that right?
They did. And we don't know, they cited a code section, but they did not provide any analysis on why they basically unilaterally dismissed the 4 challenges. Based on my reading of the code section that was cited to, it appears that they might have already been removed from the voter roll, which is great. That's exactly what our intention is with our lawsuit and with these voter roll challenges. But it's not clear because they did not provide an explanation. There was no hearing, in fact.
The judge was trying to get one versus many sort of question. It sounds like in the immediate instance, you're talking about one that you believe state and federal law allows unlimited challenges as long as they're brought by a private person.
So in the hearing, we went back and forth. The judge and I went back and forth on this issue. And when you bring a lawsuit, there can be many different parties with different injuries and different remedies that they're seeking. So in this one specific challenge, and Mr. Frazier has actually brought several challenges to the county, some involving one, some involving more than one voters who he identified as being uneligible to be registered to vote in the county. In this instance, in this specific challenge, there were specific violations of law that is our position that the county of Fulton was involved in. Also in this process, there have been hearings and there were letters that were sent, there were procedures that were not followed, and it became apparent that there were greater violations of law that were being committed by the county and its board members. So then the scope of the complaint and of the issue has been broadened and now involves the tens, if not hundreds of thousands of residents in this county and all 158 counties in the state, which is very, very concerning, especially with the election coming up in just a matter of days. Our understanding and our position is that the National Voter Registration Act and the 90-day silent period applies to systematic purging of voter rolls by the state, by county officials acting under color of law. Absolutely, we are in agreement that the county cannot be purging tens of thousands of voters 2 days before a federal election. At some point, their systematic processes need to stop. However, if I'm an individual with a fundamental constitutionally protected right to vote, and 20 days before the election, I discover that there are 30 people who are, incarcerated or who have died, and they're still on the voter roll, that 90-day silencing period, that period before the election does not apply to individual challenges under Section OCGA 21.2.229A. Those are individual voters, individual citizens' challenges. Those are not systematic voter purges by the state. So there's a difference. And again, the whole purpose of the National Voter Registration Act was to curtail government suppression of voter registration and votes. It's not to curtail an individual citizen's right to defend and protect and enforce their constitutionally protected right to vote.
But as a result of the case, it's found that one or more counties were failing to abide by provisions of the NVRA. Would that potentially benefit eligible voters by putting in question ineligible voters, especially for this election?
Regardless of the election, it's important that only eligible voters are voting in elections. I don't care if it's local or it's federal. Again, this is a fundamental right unique to American citizens. There are people that are still risking life and limb, sending their children here unaccompanied to come to this country and participate in our constitutional republic. There are other countries in the world that don't have the right to vote. This is what makes our country unique and which has made us one of the the greatest superpowers and the greatest countries in the entire world. If we don't enforce this ability to engage in the electoral process, then we are no better than a third world country that is under an authoritarian dictator. So anytime that we are enforcing the Constitution and that we are enforcing laws that uphold and enforce our constitutional rights is an important case and an important decision.
I just want to thank y'all for being here today and representing Mr. Frazier and Mr. Ferguson, because I'm a Fulton County resident and I've witnessed for at least probably 3 years now, Fulton County doesn't maintain the voter rolls, the Secretary of State doesn't maintain the voter rolls. I think we've seen that in other cases, but it's been proven. So I just want to thank you for being here today and bringing this case forward.
Well, honestly, our work would not be possible without your support, not just donating to our efforts. This is a 501, Citizen AG is a 501c3. We are completely operating on our donated time and resources and any donations that come into citizenag.org. But it doesn't matter if you don't understand and you guys don't get involved and support us. If anybody knows, these lawsuits started with you as residents exercising your constitutional rights and your freedom to petition the government to redress your grievances. So we couldn't do it without you, and you showing up today really means a lot to us. So thank you, actually, more than anything, for being here. Sure. My name's Nicole Pearson. I'm a mother and an attorney, and I am the litigation director and coordinator of legal affairs of Citizen AG.